Black history they don't want you to know. Claudette Colvin. Few people know the story of Claudette Colvin. When she was 15, she refused to move to the back of the bus and give her seat to a white person, 9 months before Rosa Parks did the very same thing. Most people know about Parks and the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott that began in 1955, but few know that there were a number of women who refused to give up their seats on the same bus system. Most of the women were quietly fined and no one heard much again. Colvin was the first to really challenge the law. Colvin was one of 5 plaintiffs in the first federal court case filed by civil rights attorney Fred Gray on February 1st, 1956 as Browder versus Gale to challenge bus segregation in the city. In the United States District Court, she testified before the 3-judge panel that heard the case. On June 13, 1956, the judges determined that the state and local laws requiring bus segregation in Alabama were unconstitutional. The case went to the United States Supreme Court on appeal by the state, and it upheld the district court's ruling on November 13, 1956. 1 month later, the Supreme Court affirmed to order Montgomery and the state of Alabama to end bus segregation. The Montgomery bus boycott was then called off after a few months. For many years, Montgomery's black leaders did not publicize Colvin's pioneering effort. Colvin has said, "Young people think Rosa Parks just sat down on the bus and ended segregation," but that wasn't the case at all. Colvin's case was dropped by civil rights campaigners because Colvin was unmarried and pregnant during the proceedings. It is now widely accepted that Colvin was not accredited by civil rights campaigners at the time due to her circumstances. Rosa Parks stated, "If the white press got a hold of that information, they would have had a field day. They'd call her a bad girl, and her case wouldn't have had a chance." There are many reasons why Claudette Colvin was pretty much forgotten. She hardly ever told her story when she moved to New York City, in her new community. Hardly anyone was talking about integration at that time. Instead, most people were talking about black enterprises, black power, and Malcolm X. When asked why she is so little known and why everybody thinks only of Rosa Parks, Colvin said that the NAACP and all other black organizations felt Parks would be a good icon because she was an adult. They didn't think teenagers would be reliable. She also said Parks had the right hair and the right look. Quote, "Her skin texture was the kind that people associate with the middle class," says Colvin. She fit that profile. David Garrow, a historian and the author of Bearing the Cross, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, says, "People may think that Parks' action was spontaneous, but black civic leaders have been thinking about what to do about the Montgomery buses for years." Parks at that time was the secretary of the NAACP. She was well known and respected. In 2019, a statue of Rosa Parks was unveiled in Montgomery, Alabama, and 4 granite markers were also unveiled near the statue on the same day to honor 4 plaintiffs in Browder versus Gale, including Colvin. Claudette Colvin. Black history they don't want you to know.